I'm not seeing anything yet.
Not yet. Oh, wait.
Refresh it.
I just think we just went live.
There we are. All right.
Why are we in space?
Why wouldn't we be, Ron?
Fair.
Where would you rather be right now?
I mean, I can think of like 4 or 5 bars.
And like Noah's Ark.
And possibly Noah's Ark.
It's funny because they don't know what we're talking about. Hey, guys.
Hello, stream.
Hello. Hello. We're waiting for John to come back. He went live and then left.
We're also waiting for somebody to acknowledge that we're live and that we're not crazy.
Hello, it's me. You probably don't remember. Uh-oh.
You probably don't remember me.
Oh, no.
Bruitz Harvey. Can't say that I do. But that's not that big a deal. I mean, don't forget. I'm old and my memory's going.
So you just left me with no excuse. Thank you.
Don't mind me throwing you under the bus.
You're really very fantastic. I appreciate that, Ron.
See if you see any of the Atlas Japanese masters under there.
The masters.
That's what they said.
I'm so upset that I missed that stream yesterday.
It was not, honestly, God, that game does not look good at all.
I just would have liked to have been part of the conversation.
Yahtzee actually liked it.
Yeah.
Like, he was actually quite complimentary of it. He said he had a good time with Persona 5, and he might even play some more of it, even though his review was done.
How about that?
So that, I mean, that's about as glowing an endorsement as you're going to get from me.
Yeah, really. That's like a 10 out of 10 for me.
So yeah, it was a fun stream, but because of the insane, I'm going to talk about that today, Mr. Corey. Don't you worry. We're going to talk about that Witcher author interview from Andrzej Sapkowski. And I hope that nobody else, I hope Liz hasn't seen that yet, because
I haven't seen that yet.
Good. Well, don't look it up, because I want to get your gut reaction to it when it comes out.
Okay. All right. That's fair. That is fair.
I don't know. Persona 5 was weird, but it has the strangest UI. Somebody in chat actually said, "Why does this UI make me think that my mom's been kidnapped and I'm getting the world's worst ransom note?" So, which I thought was kind of apropos.
Hey, so hey everybody.
Okay.
There
he is.
John.
Hey everybody, welcome to the rescheduled.
I will take the fall for this one due to some prior commitments. I am going to be out of town, and so our illustrious friends here at the Escapist were kind enough to do the podcast today because they didn't want to do it without me, I guess. Or something.
Sure. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
I knew it was something like that.
Unfortunately, Ian was not able to join us.
So you're just stuck with us.
Sorry, folks. So let's just get going because it's already a little later in the day than we normally start. So welcome to the Escapist Live podcast. John, do you remember the Bruitz Harvey who watched you play Minecraft, I think? He's yelling at you in chat.
I think you're saying it wrong. I think it's Harvey.
It could be. It could be.
I think I do, actually.
So anyway, it's the Escapist Live podcast.
Well, how's the audio? Can you hear all of us at a roughly an equal level? Let me know.
It's the Escapist Live podcast for the week of April the 21st, 2017, and we're all very excited because Dawn of War 3 comes out next week, or at least I'm very excited, and the rest of you, well, should be.
And if you're not, you're wrong.
That's right, exactly.
You're allowed to be wrong, that's fine, but...
I am the managing editor of The Escapist, Ron Whitaker, and I am joined, as always, by our senior editor, Liz Finnegan.
Hello.
and our genius of streaming, Mr. John Markley.
Hey, everybody.
So we didn't get to have a podcast last week because I know it's the 20th, Tyler. I said it's the week of April 21st.
Because
anyway.
we always go by the Friday when we say it because we're a day early. This is what you get. Okay.
So, anyway, last week we did not have a podcast because of the holiday, the Easter holiday. And so now we're catching up on 2 weeks worth of nonsense. But I want to touch on, to start out, the story that we were just alluding to. Andrzej Sapkowski, whose name I probably am pronouncing.
Andrzej Sapkowski, I believe.
Okay.
Wow, that was way off.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. Guess what? I didn't care. So he did an interview with this website called Waypoint, talking about the Witcher series, and he said, "I'm going to read the direct quote."
And for those who are not familiar, he is the Polish fantasy author who created The Witcher.
Correct. He created the Witcher, and he wrote all the books, and some of them have since been translated to English, and they're quite good.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
But his quote was, "The belief widely spread by CD Projekt that the games made me popular outside of Poland is completely false. I made the games popular. All of my translations in the West, including the English one, were published before the first game."
Were they?
End quote. Now, to take what he's saying and color it with the shining glimmer of truth, the first Witcher game came out in October 2006.
Okay.
The first English translated Witcher book came out in 2007.
So,
which was the last
for
wish.
A second.
Yeah, which was the last wish and contained a couple of short stories. The first full Witcher novel, Blood of Elves, didn't show up in English until 2008.
Okay.
And then he said that he thinks that the Witcher games have lost him as many book sales as it gained him.
Interesting.
What?
I find that improbable,
I find that
but
very difficult to believe. I wasn't familiar with the books at all until obviously the game came out. You know, I'm not in Poland, but most of the people that I've spoken to did not pick up the books until the game.
Yeah.
And they went, "Oh, I want more of this universe. Apparently there are books. Cool. Let me read them." So I don't feel like that's a fair portrayal. I mean, I can understand, like, it's kind of like a dog wanting to pee on his tree.
Right,
where it's
right.
like, this is my thing. And
what was
to believe...
Oh, sorry. No, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
You know, you want to believe that this thing that you created, you are the best at it.
Right.
But it's a very different way of obviously getting the material, which is obviously, you know, different. But
well, it's even worse because if you read through the interview, the whole interview, he's just trashing video games.
Of course.
Just trashing them.
Oh wait, here we go. It's right here in chat. A video game serves a different purpose. It works differently. How much substance can there be in the lines of text when the hero walks through the woods and talks to a squirrel? Where's the literature in that? Where's the room for depth or sophisticated language with which games could elevate culture? There's none. Whoa, bitch. Hold the phone. You know what? No, I was a little now in retrospect with my peeing on a tree thing because I was trying to be nice to the guy while still maintaining my awesome, charming Liz stuff. But no, fuck you.
Let's not be too hard on him. He's like in his in his 60s or something, isn't he?
Hold on. He then says the offer was that they were going to base the game on my books and create their own story, to which I told them, fine, that's your problem now. He said, it's hard to say no to an adaptation offer that comes with a lot of money. Right? And then he says, then he went down and he says, this is the best part. Like, he says, I have nothing against the game itself. I think it's a high-level product. All the benefits that CD Projekt receive for it are well-earned. I have nothing against video games in general and nothing against the people who play them, even if I don't and never will play them. The whole animosity started when the game began to spoil my market.
What? Okay, first of all, if you haven't
wait,
played them,
wait.
if you haven't played them and you have no intention of playing them, then you don't get to sit here and be like, oh, games are incapable of any sort of depth.
Yes.
There's no cultural value to it because I've never experienced it because I don't play them. Like, that's not a thing that you can say with any level of authority. You can say it and look like an idiot for sure. But if you have never actually played it, you don't get to say that it does not bring any sort of value culturally or any sort of depth or quote unquote sophisticated language.
It gets better. He says, when I come to my author meetings, there's no one in the audience close to my age. I'm 69. There's no one. Kids everywhere. How are some of them supposed to know, especially in Germany or Spain or the US, that my books are not game related, that I'm not writing books based on games? They may not know that. And CD Projekt bravely conceals the game's origins. It's written in fine print. You need a microscope to see that the game is based on my books. Seriously.
Okay.
Wait,
now
what?
Okay. All right. Now the second half of that is obviously pretty goofy. I mean, I've never seen them like shrink from the thing that's based on. That said, I can sympathize with him with the idea of him running into people who think that he's writing video game adaptations and not know. I can actually totally buy the idea that there are like a not insignificant number of people out there who think that the games came first and that he wrote books based on them. Because I mean,
okay, and I mean, and
I
there's
can totally
some
buy that. Well, I can imagine that being incredibly frustrating.
There's probably a case to be made for what you're saying because the game did come out in English in US and other places before the books were translated, so people didn't see those books, right? But this is my favorite part. So again, I'm going to butcher another pronunciation, and I'm not going to apologize for it anymore. Dmitry Glukhovsky, who you may or may not know, wrote the Metro books.
Okay.
He's also quoted in this interview where he says, quote, "I think that he," referring to the author of the Witcher books, "is totally wrong and that he's an arrogant motherfucker."
Whoa.
Without the gaming franchise, the Witcher series would never get the crazy international readership that it has. And it's not just about the gamers, but the gaming press, the buzz they create, and just the feeling of something great and massive and impressive coming out. It got people hooked. He would remain a local Eastern European phenomenon without this, but he would never break into the West. And the same thing goes for my Metro books. Yeah, he says later, he published Metro 2033 for free online. And it just so happened that the guy who was the creative lead at 4A Games was one of the first people that read it. And he thought it was so good they wanted to make a game based on it. And that's how that happened.
Interesting.
And
holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm so glad that I got to experience this like live with you, because if I read it before, like obviously you wouldn't be getting like Liz giggling like a little freaking schoolgirl, but holy shit, like all right, my man.
Yeah.
Like John said, there is that case, and like you said, the game came out before the first English adaptation, regardless of what this guy wants to say. We all know how time works and how years progress. But honestly, like I said, most of the people that I have dealt with in real life and had conversations about the games with, I mean, the games are epic, especially 3. Like 3 is the pinnacle of gaming in my mind.
It's amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. And people learned that, we were going to see, possibly the end of the Witcher universe. And they went, I need to go read the books. I need more. Like it became almost like a drug. It's like, this was such a great experience. I want to experience more of it. So I do not believe even for a second that the games cost him anything.
No, that's complete nonsense.
That's wow. God, that's a thing.
See why I didn't want you to go read it?
Man, I'm so glad I didn't. Like, I'm really very excited that I got to experience this with you. So.
And what's interesting is he talks about the process of making the games and how they made Metro 2033, and when they wanted to make Metro Last Light, there was no plot for it because the second book, Metro 2034, actually doesn't involve the original protagonist from Metro 2033. So he helped them write a separate story. And he says, my approach was, quote, I'm offering my help. You guys are pros. You made a lot of outstanding games. You know better what works and what doesn't. Which is a little different, right? Than what we heard from the author of the Witcher books there.
I just went and followed this guy on Twitter, even though I can't understand a single.
Yeah, he tweets completely in Cyrillic, so it's kind of hard to read.
Yeah, you know what? I want to make sure he has that extra follower. Because
but I like that he says, I'm already part of the generation that has not judged video games as poor entertainment. It can easily be a piece of art, depending on who's creating it, what his talent is. It can be utter trash, and it can also be a piece of art. So there you go. Yeah,
that's pretty accurate.
Yeah, you know, I mean, granted, we've all played both kinds of games there.
Yes.
So, anyway, that is a thing that happened this week, and holy shit, was it really interesting to read about.
That's amazing.
And I knew that Liz was going to be really excited about it, so I didn't want to. And speaking of things that I know are going to get a rise out of Liz, I'm on a roll today, you guys, so watch this.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
Watch this. So, since we last talked, Nintendo has officially canceled the NES Classic Edition.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo's business plan is apparently, lots of people want this thing and are willing to give us money for it, so let's not make any more of them.
Yeah. Well, first, let's underestimate the market that's going to purchase it.
Let's vastly underestimate.
Vastly. And then we'll start teasing them with trickle-out selective more shipments of it. But, like, we're not going to let you know when or where. It's like a freaking Where's Waldo. And then we're just going to stop making them, and we're going to let the scalpers sell them.
As soon as we realize that everybody
$100.
wants one, we're going to stop making one. So I want to put this out there too. They canceled the NES Classic, Careless Worgen, the little throwback NES thing. I want to point this out. The day that we heard they were going to cancel it, I was talking to Liz, and I told Liz, I said, you realize what this means? It means they're going to cancel this thing, pitch it over a cliff somewhere, and this Christmas they're going to put out the SNES Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what?
Oh, God.
What?
This Christmas, we're going to get the SNES Classic.
Now, that's not, like, officially confirmed yet.
No.
That's from sources, but, like, come on. This is apparently happening. It's going to be happening in
Tyler mentions the Switch Mini, the Mini Switch, which was not anything that is actually being produced yet. That was the Switch Mini that was sort of being bandied about this week. Was a group of analysts said that was their prediction that they would make a smaller version of the Switch so that kids could use it as a handheld more easily.
That will make me so angry.
Liz, seriously, this is Nintendo. They don't give a shit what makes you angry.
That's true. I was lucky enough to be able to get my hands on NES Classic. However, it was not an easy process for me. I was driving myself nuts trying to find one for my kids for Christmas. And luckily, I have a cousin who lives in like New Mexico who was able to get one. And he was coming up and like handed it over to me all like slyly on Christmas Eve. And I ran home and wrapped it real quick. But like it was not an easy process for me either. I had to get it from literally the other side of the country. So
pretty impressive.
But yeah, I honestly I can't wrap my head around it. Now let's not pretend like it was, you know, a perfect console or anything. You know, there were plenty of complaints that people had about it.
Not the least of which was the 19-inch long cord.
Right. That was definitely a big one right there. You know, the fact that obviously it came with the 30 games, and while there is definitely that appeal of a plug and play, you know, throwback console, a lot of people wanted to see something similar to like the virtual console where you could go on and actually download more games, you know, some sort of support for expandable storage so that you would be able to do that. It would make them money. It would make them money consistently if they had done that. I would like to see that with the SNES Classic.
Tough shit.
It's not going to happen. No, God, I'm not an idiot. I don't think that's actually going to be a thing. I think it's going to be literally the same exact thing that we got with the NES Classic, only for a different like console generation, basically. But
the The only reason I really wanted an NES Classic, I had no intention of playing any of the games that were on it, using it as a gaming device, but I wanted to bust it open, tear all the guts out, and put a Raspberry Pi in it, and make it an emulator box that just looked cool.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, I know. That's all. That's the only reason I wanted it. So, but, you know, this is just crazy. Nintendo, like, every time I think I've seen the dumbest thing that Nintendo can do, they're like, hold my beer, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Honestly, we got a great graphical glitch here. There's like I started a new campaign, and like the wrecked burning ships from like a different scene in the old campaign are out on the big galaxy map now. You guys won't be able to see it soon enough, but
I see it.
It's kind of great. It's like ships the size of whole, stellar clusters suddenly at the edge of the galaxy. I'm sorry, go ahead. Back to it.
I'm still, you know what? I know we moved on, but I'm still.
What? I just lost
you.
It.
What?
I lost
you for a second, Liz. What are you still what?
I'm still sitting here in shock over this Witcher thing.
Oh yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It's like I know we've moved on. Logically, I'm aware I can't go back, but like my brain keeps going, "Hey, remember that thing Ron just told you?"
Oh, yeah. God. So if you haven't gotten your hands on an NES Classic and you want one, there is supposedly a final group of shipments coming to North America this month, and there's
going to be 5.
Yeah, your local store will have 1, 2, 3 consoles for all 57 people that want one.
Right.
So there you go. You know what happened last week, and we spend a lot of time being negative.
Come on.
I want to, especially when we talk about consoles and like how poorly the Xbox One has done. I do want to take this opportunity to sort of applaud a decision that Microsoft has made.
Okay.
I've actually done a lot of this. Liz, you talk about this all the time. The Xbox One announcement was probably
the single worst thing ever.
The original big one at E3?
Yeah, it was
that one.
The digital water cooler?
Yeah.
I believe is what they called it.
Literally the single worst PR thing that I've ever watched.
Yeah, no, that was
didn't involve Kaz Hirai saying, Ridge Racer! So, but there's something good that they did something good last week. They've done a lot of good things, honestly, since that debacle. They backpedaled pretty hard. Things like backwards compatibility, and they've added a lot of functionality that gamers want.
Right.
And so now they've added self-service refunds to Xbox One and Windows 10 games.
How's that work?
Well, basically, sort of like Steam's refund system, you go to Microsoft.com, you log into your account, you go over to your order history, you find the game you want to refund, and you click Request a Refund.
Why does that sound so easy?
It's just as easy as it sounds. It just sounds funny because it's never that easy.
Right.
And that's because there are a number of restrictions, of course. You can only refund a game within 14 days of when you bought it, and you have to have played it less than 2 hours.
That's roughly the Steam policy, isn't it?
Basically. You can't refund it the day of release. It must have been at least 1 day since it released. And there's no refunds available for DLC, season passes, or any other sort of add-ons. And of course, the developer/publisher must participate in the system. There are some apps you can't refund. So, and here's a weird one. You have to have downloaded and launched the game or app at least one time before you can request a refund. So.
But what if it's not working?
That is a good question.
Okay.
That's not a question I have the answer for, but it's a good question. I'm not sure when this is all going live. Last time I looked, and I'll double check right now to make sure this is not false, but the last time I looked, Microsoft's FAQ for buying digital games literally says you can't get a refund for a digital game. and it still says you can't get a refund for this game. That's because this system is still in the console's alpha preview, the last that I checked.
Okay.
It's not live for all users yet, but it's coming, and it
still,
should be
it's
coming.
still very exciting development.
And honestly, I'm actually working on an article about this right now, but it's time for everybody. Every single digital system needs to have a refund policy.
Absolutely.
It's ridiculous that they don't. Sony, come on. Seriously. I know you're winning. I know you're beating the shit out of Microsoft, and it's really getting kind of sad right now, but come on. Help us out. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing.
That's a thing. Hey, you know what? Can't complain.
No, I'm literally that's
I
not
can
one
and
that
will.
I'll complain about.
Yeah. Oh, stop.
John will complain because John will complain about anything. So, I mean,
okay, pot kettle.
I don't complain about everything.
Okay.
Other exciting things that happened since we talked last. Did you guys see there's going to be a demo for Prey that you can play before the game comes out?
I did see that.
Like you'll be able to play the first hour of the game a week from today?
We have talked about this. Every single game should have a demo.
And so I am
definitely a good thing.
As much shade as we've thrown at Bethesda for their review policy of not sending out early review copies anymore.
Yeah.
This is good.
This is good. This is very good. This
is really good. I would love for this to become a thing that Bethesda does with all their games. Here's the first hour. Go play it. Decide if you like it.
Right.
I have praised.
It's a good alternative to the whole review thing. That at first I was really, really torn on that, but you know, this is giving people the opportunity to actually get hands-on with it beforehand. Obviously, you're not getting a full review, so you're not getting the entire spectrum of it. However, it's still giving you that opportunity to get some sort of idea of what you're getting yourself into. So.
There is a draw. There is one negative thing that they're calling up here in chat right now, which is that there's not going to be a PC demo. I actually reached out directly to Bethesda when the news came out last week and asked them about it, and they said, as of right now, the demo is only planned for PS4 and Xbox One. So, you know. So, you know, that kind of sucks, but you can download and play the demo on PS4 and then buy the vastly superior PC version.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, just to see if you're going to like it. And pretend that the controls don't suck while you're playing it.
Just pretend.
It'll be great. So for those of you that have been following the stream on the regular, you'll know that John's been playing quite a bit of Bayonetta lately on the stream.
Oh, that's right. How are you liking it?
It's good, but it's whooping the tar out of me. I'm not.
Yeah. It's definitely. It's not a
It's not noob friendly.
No, it's not a squishy game.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I remember, like my first experiences playing Metal Gear Rising were just this confusing living nightmare, and that ended up becoming one of my favorite games of all time. So I'm not going to go.
Yeah. The reason John's been playing Bayonetta is because Bayonetta is now available on PC.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
And in the wake of that, and people being really excited about it, there was an interview with the Platinum Games people, and they were like, we want all of our games to be on PC, but the publishers won't let us, which fits right in with our theme of let's throw somebody else under the bus.
You know what, though? That was my favorite let's throw somebody under the bus moment.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, what are they supposed to say? I mean, if that's the, it's not like they can just say, no, we're gonna publish games on PC anyway, and we don't care if we get sued or whatever.
No, but they could have just said we'd like to have all of our games on PC, but in some cases that just isn't possible.
No, dude, I love this so much because then it's like they're putting it out there that that's a thing that they want, and there's going to be demand.
There's going to be pressure
that results from that.
Yeah, I'm glad that I'm glad that they're saying why. Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not upset that they're saying why.
Something positive come from it. Yeah, I love this. I'm really very excited about this. I mean, they didn't specifically name.
Yeah,
anyone.
They didn't say that guy.
Yeah, they didn't say Nintendo.
Yeah, they could have.
Yeah, I mean, we all know.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we needed them to say that. So that's pretty interesting. Yes, Vanquish was published by Sega as well, I believe. Wasn't it, John?
Was. I'm almost certain it was.
Yeah.
That's all John wants.
I know it's really kind of sad that
if you could,
anytime that something happens in the world that even has nothing to do with video games, he's like, everything's lining up. I'm getting Vanquish. It's like, oh, John.
Actually, he was watching CNN last night and he heard that somebody vanquished the North Korean missile and he got excited.
Liz tweeted something about how the Russians apparently built some like drone that like some armed gun-toting drone or something, and I said, okay,
or the robot.
Yeah, okay. Russian combat robots does take us a step closer to Vanquish happening in real life. As maybe played Vanquish,
yes,
because the whole thing is about fighting Russian military robots.
So one thing that kind of went under the radar last week, a week ago today, and I don't know if you guys even noticed, there's probably going to be a new trial in the Oculus ZeniMax lawsuit.
Really?
Oh, I didn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oculus has filed a motion for a new trial. What they did is, this is kind of a complicated legal maneuver, but they first requested a judgment as a matter of law, which allows them, once that's filed, then the jury verdict comes down. Then they requested a judgment notwithstanding the verdict, asking that the verdict be thrown out, the jury's verdict be thrown out. And then they also filed a motion for a new trial in the event that the case didn't get thrown out with their previous motion. And it's interesting because they claim that the new trial is warranted. I'm going to read this direct because this is kind of interesting. Because the verdict is against the great weight of the evidence, the damages awarded are excessive, and the spoliation testimony and adverse inference instruction tainted the jury. So, obviously, there's not we haven't heard anything in a ruling in way of a ruling for that yet.
Right.
But there is at least a chance, because from everything I understand, the jury instructions in that case were like 85 pages long.
Yeah, no, they were, yeah.
So
very bulky.
It would not be surprising if an appeals judge came along and there found something in the instructions to the jury that, would have been considered to have been issued incorrectly.
Right,
and
right.
Therefore warranting a new trial.
Yeah.
So, no matter what happens here, if they throw the verdict out, ZeniMax is going to appeal, and if they don't throw the verdict out, Oculus is begging a new trial. Odds are we're going to be back in a courtroom at some point in the near future.
With more John Carmack.
With more of John Carmack being a complete douche canoe.
I'm so excited, which, by the way, that's good to take that little segue there. Prior to going live, everybody, we were talking about a Super Nintendo game. It's called Super Noah's Ark 3D.
Because it's in 3D.
And I just
which may be appearing on this stream in the
which will be appearing on this stream. Thank you very much. It's already been decided. But I pulled it up on I looked it up because I wanted to obviously purchase it with real live money. And I happened upon the Wikipedia page. John Carmack's name is right there as the programmer.
Because Wolfenstein Engine.
Yeah, because his name will forever be tied to this game. And I just wanted to share that because I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, let me give you a little bit of history there.
He's always going to be blamed for this game.
Noah's Ark 3D was made by Wisdom Tree, which is this company that made religious video games. Unauthorized by Nintendo. They had various workaround stuff and whatnot to get around Nintendo's lockout technology, whatever, so you could actually play them. And in fact, actually, Noah's Ark 3D was the only North American unauthorized Super NES game to actually get commercially released, I believe.
Right.
And
there's your bar trivia for the day, folks.
The reason they had the Wolfenstein 3, people are going to get it, the Wolfenstein 3D engine in the first place was that they were originally going to make a different game using the Wolfenstein 3D engine. Would you care to guess what that game was going to be?
Please tell me that it was some sort of first-person shooter where you play as Jesus.
Not exactly. It was Hellraiser.
I was close.
Wisdom Tree's secular parent company, Color Dreams, who spun off basically who made like a religious subsidiary to try to get a market.
Capture the religious market.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe some of the Wisdom Tree games were basically just religiously themed reskins of Color Dreams games, in fact. But anyway, they were going to make a game based on the Hellraiser movies for the NES. It was actually going to be this big elaborate thing where the cartridge was actually going to have like a bunch of extra hardware in it that would let it like do stuff beyond what the NES would normally be capable of. And that was actually sort of the project's undoing because it made it too expensive to manufacture, and it ended up not happening. But they still had, but for that they licensed the Wolfenstein 3D engine from id Software, and they still had it, so they put it to use, and so Hellraiser became Noah's Ark 3D.
Oh man!
The more you know.
I just love that.
The more you know.
I really like because Wisdom Tree also did the Bible Adventures game. I'm convinced that in the entirety of Wisdom Tree was just like one big troll. Because it has that one mini game with the baby Moses where you actually like it's who the hell are you controlling? It's like a sister.
It's a sister, I think. It's
a sister or somebody, but like you're carrying around baby Moses, also a projectile weapon.
Yes, he is. Where
you can like throw him at enemies to stop them, but he doesn't get injured, so it's fine. But it's like this isn't biblically accurate, I don't believe.
Does that not remind you of the mod for Fallout 4 that lets you shoot the baby out of the Fat Man launcher? Remember that? That was great.
Oh god! But yeah, like I actually want to look up every game that Wisdom Tree has ever made and play all of them.
Oh no, Wolf Venom! I played some of these games as a kid.
Yeah, this was the thing.
Yeah, this is first-hand knowledge here.
You underestimate how many terrible classic games I am in possession of.
Absolutely.
Oh my lord! So, you know what else was? What else happened last weekend? So after we would have done the podcast was Star Wars Celebration in Orlando.
Yes, that's a thing.
What is this?
Where we saw the first real reveal of Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is written by the guy that wrote Spec Ops: The Line,
which is a weird choice.
Well, here's the interesting thing. They said down there, the executive producer said in a panel or in a discussion that they were ditching the season pass for Battlefront 2. But since then, EA has come back and said, well,
we haven't decided exactly
it
what
might
we're
not
doing.
exactly be a season pass, but there may be something.
Yeah, EA showed up doing the EA thing.
Yeah, so we don't really know what's going on with that, and I'm not willing to get into it. Because who the hell knows? I think that with EA involved, you should definitely plan on there being some sort of, inane microtransactions that split the community.
Right.
So and then also there's going to be offline co-op in Star Wars Battlefront 2, but only if you play on console.
Right. Which isn't like a huge surprise. It's just that.
No, I mean, how often do you play offline couch co-op on your PC?
I mean, I've got mine hooked up to a very large television as a monitor. So I mean,
right.
I easily could, but a lot of people don't. So
most people don't.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I probably wouldn't either because I also have friends. So this isn't really a feature that would benefit me one way or the other.
Right. So last week, Bandai Namco came out and teased a new game. And they teased it with a little animated trailer and the tagline, "Prepare to dine."
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the time, of course, they used that tagline specifically because of the ties to Dark Souls, with the "Prepare to Die" line. And obviously, it turns out that From Software has nothing to do with it. It's actually a new vampire game.
What?
I'm really very disappointed.
Just general vampires, or is it like the White Wolf vampire? Or
no, it's like.
Oh wait, no, Paradox actually owns that, don't they?
Yeah, this is completely new. It's an anime-styled vampire game.
Okay.
Where they say that it's a. I'll just read the quote. Code Vein provides a fresh anime aesthetic and blood-curdling gameplay twist to the popular third-person action RPG genre. The talented development team at Bandai Namco Studios is creating a tightly crafted experience filled with challenge that our fans crave, along with a smart and engaging story to draw players deeper into the world of Code Vein. The press release that we got for it basically said that, you're into this world and it's full of vampires that are called revenants, and then you can draw the blood
because
out of these other things.
God forbid we ever actually call our undead creatures by the name of what they actually obviously are.
Yes. Right, of course.
I've developed a grudge against any sort of zombie anything that refuses to use the zombie word. It irritates
zombie
me.
word.
The Z word. Revenants also have access to blood veils, which are devices that allow them to drain blood from their enemies and enhance their own abilities. You can use it to like superpower to empower your attacks or defense or whatever. I don't know. They haven't given out a whole lot of information about it yet. They did release a
turn your volume down, Blackout. Go on.
They did release an absolute shitload of screenshots today, like 15 or 20 of them, and it's got an interesting style to it.
I will be right back.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna go look at the screenshots. See, I don't know. They haven't said when it's coming out.
I'm sorry, Blackout. I shouldn't have snapped at you like that. I apologize. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All they've said is that it's coming out sometime in 2018 for quote major home consoles. I again got in touch with Bandai this morning and said, "What about PC?" And they said, "Well, we're just saying major home consoles for now." So, we'll see what it does. It's from the same studio that made God Eater. So if you were familiar with those games.
I don't think I am.
So that's, we'll see. So Switch exclusive. Nobody said minor handheld things that nobody plays. Sorry. Not really. So I don't know. There's been a whole lot of stuff going on of late, and it's really kind of we've got a lot of catching up to do because they weren't here last week. And I want to kind of, before I get into the next thing, I want to wait till Liz gets back. But in the meantime, let me just mention the original StarCraft and Brood War are fucking free. You guys go get them. You can just go download them. It's not even a big deal. And if you play through them and you progress, you can carry that over to your you can carry your progress over to the remastered version when it comes out. So Blizzard released the patch that made those free. Speaking of free games, Saints Row 2 is free right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
on GOG.com.
Like as I said, I would have thought GOG would have some sort of policy against letting people distribute malware on their platform because the Saints Row 2 PC port is unbelievably bad.
It's not good.
It's not the best thing that we've ever seen now.
It's certainly not the best thing we've ever seen. That is true.
Yeah.
So there's that. If you want Saints Row 2, you can get it for free. Hairless Morgan asks, is there any new news on Focus Home Interactive's werewolf game, or do we still know bugger all about it? If we knew bugger all about it, we'd know more than we know now.
Yeah, basically.
You know what? I want to back up a second. Somebody mentioned we were talking about Prey earlier, and I forgot to mention they're actually Bethesda is actually doing a contest with Prey, and the grand prize is a 4-day, 3-night trip for 2 to Space Camp.
What?
Space Camp still exists?
To the Adult Space Camp Academy in Huntsville, Alabama.
There's an adult space camp.
I was about to start childishly giggling at the concept of an adult space camp, like
for grown-ups.
Space camp after dark.
Now, seriously,
oh my god,
that would be grand. So the grand prize includes the 4-day, 3-night trip, all your airfare, all your accommodations, meals and activities, and a new home entertainment system with a 65-inch 4K TV, a home theater system, and a custom Prey console of your choice.
Now, do you have to go to the adult space camp in order to get the entertainment stuff? Or
I don't know, because there's also 3 first prize winners that just get that entertainment system.
Okay, all right.
And then there are 10 second prize winners will just get the console, and then the 25 third place winners get a $100 GameStop gift card.
Wait. So it goes grand, first, second, third?
Mm-hmm.
But then first isn't first.
Yeah, no.
God,
that's how they've always done it. It's how it's always been done, Liz. Does that bother you?
It bothers me so much.
Does it really?
Because then you know you're not actually first.
Yeah, well,
the guy who got the big prize was first.
No, he was grand.
And first at the same time. Just move on.
Anyway,
Liz says in in utter disgust.
Yeah, if you head over to transsarawaits.com, you can take a little personality test that enters you to get into that contest. So if you want to go to Adult Space Camp After Dark, there you go. Which
personality? Wait, a personality test?
I swear to God.
I'm gonna get arrested. Oh.
I swear to God. It's a personality test. That's what it says. I didn't actually take it, so I don't know. Jeez. So Liz, wasn't there an Overwatch update today?
The update was part of the patch from, I think it was like last week, but they detailed it more today, and it's how the wins are determined in competitive mode.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because they have that god awful thing that they decided to start doing, where you only needed to earn like 1% more progress on an objective,
mm-hmm.
on like attack. And obviously it would be like, oh, well, if you hold the one team off and they only get 0% and your team comes along and only gets 1%, that's a win. So that was very frustrating. They have changed that to, you need to achieve a minimum of 33% progress towards the objective in order for it to qualify as a win. So while there will technically be more ties, it won't be as freaking ridiculous, but they still haven't fixed, the skill rating for healers. So just gonna put that out there as a healing main and competitive. That really that peeves me.
What's wrong with the skill rating for healers? Because I mostly play Mercy, so.
It's all wonky. Because apparently, like, a lot of it is based.
I lost you.
So
there.
it's
Liz, we lost you for a second there. What? Can you start?
Apparently, a lot of it is based on like the amount of time you fire.
Okay.
Is my understanding. Like it's Steven wrote about it. If somebody wants to toss the news post.
So it's based on the amount of time you're firing. There. So how does that?
And obviously it takes a lot to get Mercy on fire. You have to walk around and basically just use your res. Okay. Wrong, basically. But Liz, Blizzard commented on it. They said it's not broken. Well, it is.
There's the link that you were talking about to Stevens.
Okay, yeah, I did my placement matches with a friend, and we did all of the placement matches together. And we had similar skill ratings at the end of last year. Did pretty well, all of us, but he was DPS, I was a healer, and he ended up with like 600 higher skill rating than me. Which is pretty bulky considering we were in the same match, the same win-loss ratio.
Right.
Healers get no love.
I also want to point out
healers also get screwed in the uprising mode because there's no healing medal in that. It's all based on kills.
Yeah, there's totally not. So you're getting none of the medals.
Yeah, I do think it's worth pointing out that Liz and John were willing to head into uprising mode with me.
Yeah.
The other night, it was challenging for them. I managed to drag them down to my level, and that's not easy to do.
You know what though? You're getting better.
I mean, that's when you have nowhere to go but up, Liz.
Oh God.
Oh, so yes, John, when are you doing your next subscriber night?
Oh, that'll be this Saturday, actually.
There you go, for Twitch subscribers.
Yeah, folks, if you're subscribed to us here on Twitch, we do have, like, Overwatch. We do have a multiplayer night for subscribers every other Saturday, usually. It's been Overwatch so far. We might be able to, we might mix it up later, but this week it'll be Overwatch. If you're interested in that, let us know in the in our Discord. Get under !Discord in the chat there to get the link to that.
John is playing Stellaris while we...
Liz, were you going to be joining us this weekend? This week?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Excellent.
Yes, sir.
And, hey, it's Robert. I'm playing Stellaris. Just so that there's... Some people... we've stopped using Google Hangouts because it's a living nightmare to use, and Discord does not yet have a, like, video chat feature. So
but feel free to send them an email and tell them they need to hurry.
So I'm just... I just play games just so there's like something to look at in the background while we're talking, basically.
And honestly, people would rather watch John play a game than look at me. So it is, speaking of Twitch, John, I think we could mention, have you seen the Twitch is doing premium subscriptions now?
Yes, yeah, they are adding a new subscription options where if you want to, you can subscribe for $10 or either $25 or $30.
$10 or $25.
Now, the interesting thing about that is that in terms of, like, getting access to more emotes, if someone subscribes at the $10 level, it counts as 2 subs, as far as...
Yes.
And if you get the 30 to whatever, it counts as, 6 or whatever.
Well, what's also interesting is, apparently, once this rolls out to everybody, they are going to... If you unlock an emote, and then you lose subscribers, you don't lose the emote anymore.
Yeah, which is cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Hopefully this is all going to be out. They're also supposedly going to add the ability to gift subscriptions to people. So
that is also really cool.
Yeah, that's something I've been wanting for a while.
Now, granted, the beta for the premium subscriptions is coming out, what they say, quote unquote, very soon.
Uh-huh.
So
that's what I've heard, Blackout. Yeah, the Discord they are working on video video chat, and they're going to start bringing that out in the hopefully not too distant future.
Let's hope that would be soon.
And I'm definitely hoping it is because Discord audio wise is just so much better than Google Hangouts. Anyway.
So you know what comes out next week, right?
I don't think we've mentioned it enough yet.
Outlast 2.
Okay.
So that caught you off guard with that one, didn't I, Liz?
Yeah, you totally did.
Outlast 2 will be out next week. I don't know if either somebody's going to stream that, right?
Liz, did you play the first Outlast?
There has to be somebody streaming it.
Liz, did you play the first Outlast?
Yeah.
I did not. Would you want to give it a go?
Sure.
So we will have streams of that next week.
I guess I might as well mention, folks. Liz is going to be taking a more active role in the on the stream.
Sorry, guys.
in the coming
Feel free to tell her how well she's doing.
We're going to be doing like a regular terrible retro game feature, and other stuff too. And yeah, I'd love to see Liz stream Outlast so that I can heckle her from the sideline.
So you want to make sure that you tune in for that next week. Someone will be streaming it at Hesterbride, I promise. Or Hesterbird. Somebody will be streaming it. We will have Outlast 2 on the channel next week. It's going to be fun. I love watching people play Outlast, so... yeah, Hairless Morgan points out, a lot of you are going to have to watch someone slice the main character's dick off. So you got that to look forward to.
Hey, there's always that.
There's always that. The other thing that we should probably mention is alongside all the Star Wars Battlefront 2 news that came out was the trailer for The Last Jedi.
Right. Which apparently, in case anybody was wondering, clarified, Jedi in The Last Jedi is singular.
Yeah, singular.
Unfortunately, it's I was convinced it wasn't, but it is singular Jedi.
And I've been the only person I know that watched that trailer and came away completely unimpressed.
I've not seen it.
Okay. Oh my God, really? I thought it was just me.
No, okay.
No,
that was not a thing I was ever going to admit to out loud. Like, there are certain things that you just don't say out loud, and I thought that was just going to be one of my silent crosses.
I posted it on Twitter. You know, I posted on Twitter and said, "Come on, Disney, do better." And people are like, "Are you serious?" And I was like, "Well, did you watch the trailer? Because it kind of sucked."
Yeah, absolutely.
I have not seen it, so what's it like?
Well, my problem with it is that it's a jumbled mess of stuff that presents no coherent idea. So you don't know what's going on or what the movie's about, or
well, at least they didn't give away too much of the story. We've seen that too. But
it would have been hard to give away less. So, you know, it was Blackout says I stopped watching trailers because I got fed up of seeing the best bits and the rest of the movie being meh. And you know, I'll say if this is the best bits of the movie, that movie is in deep, deep trouble. But you know, it showed a bunch of familiar characters, and you know, a couple of things that were like, oh, Kylo Ren's in there. Ooh. So I don't know. It's been really hard to get excited for these newer Star Wars movies.
I like 7.
I mean, I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying it's difficult to be excited about it.
Sure.
So
right. I mean, I'm excited about like the fact that it's going to exist, I guess, but that's like the extent of it for me.
I just want to share what Scarecrow.com just said in chat because it's funny. He says, what puts me off Battlefront 2, aside from it being a sequel to Battlefront, is that it has the writer from Spec Ops: The Line. So I anticipate being forced to fire the Death Star at a planet full of puppies and then getting a lecture about my decision. That's because Spec Ops: The Line was not a very good game with a not very good story.
Right.
You know, for some reason, Spec Ops: The Line is often held up as this pinnacle of gaming writing, and it's terrible.
It's so bad.
It is literally, oh, how dare you fire your gun at all those innocent people? Now go shoot those innocent people so you can progress.
Right.
Like, that's literally Spec Ops: The Line.
I think Spec Ops: The Line story is really good if you don't know what they were actually trying to say with it. It's like, taken on its own, it's a really good story about a man being driven to madness and depravity by you know, war and by his own personality flaws. But then I find out it's like it was actually intended as some sort of statement about video games, and it seems a lot less smart than I thought than it did initially. That's my feeling.
It's just not, the story's just not that great. Well, yeah, Laughing CH says the guy looking forward to Dawn of War 3. I look forward to Dawn of War 3 for gameplay. I'm not hoping for a great epic story about, you know, how the orcs, you know, took back the pointy stick.
Dawn of War 2's story was like shockingly good, actually.
It was shockingly good. But see, to me, when you take a Dawn of War game, I'm going in there for the RTS gameplay, right? If I happen to get a good story, hell, that's a bonus, man.
Right.
You know, the problem with Spec Ops was they had all these, when you listen to them talk about the game, when you listen to them say, this is our version, our video game version of Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. This is our Apocalypse Now, right? And then you watch it and it is literally not even close to that. It is, you know, it is shoot all the civilians to go forward, and then your only two choices are shoot all the civilians and be lectured for it, or turn off the game. That's not good writing, okay? Spec Ops is always held up as this great thing of writing, and no, it's not good. So, anyway. Laughing CH is going into Dawn of War for the grim dark 40k badassery. It's, you know, the interesting thing about Dawn of War 3 right now, and I can talk about it a little bit now because I've been playing it, and I should have reviewed it today, but I'm not at a place where I'm comfortable reviewing it yet. It's got some generic RTS stuff in it. They added in they added in the heroes like you would maybe see in a MOBA, and people were worried that it was taking on too much of a MOBA feel, but it's really not. The heroes feel more like the elite units from Dawn of War 2. You know, they don't have a ton of special abilities, and they're, you know, I know, like Gabriel Angelos, she gets like the ability to jump in and slam his hammer down. So if you've watched any of the videos, you've seen it. So
Right.
I don't know. I am having fun with Dawn of War. John and I played it a little bit on stream in the beta, didn't we, John?
Yep.
It was fun. It was fun. We fought to a dramatic draw. So
I don't know. It was mostly for me a reminder why I mostly don't play. I don't play unpausable real time strategy that much. So
it took me a minute to get the hang of the new systems in Dawn of War 3, but once you get the hang of them, they're pretty darn fun. I'll have a review of it next week after I've played it some more. But anyway. See, what else happened this week, you guys? Is there anything I'm forgetting? Anything important that I'm forgetting? I mean, I'm sure there's things I've forgotten. It's not there was something else. Oh, I know what I was going to share with you guys. I remember now. So did you guys see the story it was Monday or Tuesday? From the guy in Canada who put on his Fallout New Vegas costume and went walking through town on his way to have it altered?
No.
He's wearing the helmet and a gas mask and a duster, and he's carrying a New California Republic flag, and he had a bunch of Pringles cans spray painted silver strapped to his back. And a bunch of people saw him and called the cops because they know what the fuck it was. The cops showed up. By the time the cops showed up, he's in the tailor shop, right?
Right.
To get his alterations done. The cops call into the tailor shop, ask the guy, hey, is this guy okay? Do you see any wires on him? You know, and the guy said no, and the cop said, all right, we need you to exit the business out the back door. And they did. And then when they went in and talked to the guy, they said they were able to determine he was wearing a costume and there was no threat. But
so it was a good costume is what I'm hearing.
Well, there's a picture of it. I mean, here, I'll tell you what. I'll put a link in chat because
yeah, do that.
Do
that.
But, and I think Laughing CH is onto something here. This guy was begging for this, right?
Oh my God.
I mean, you don't walk through town dressed like that in this day and age unless you're walking to Comic-Con.
Right.
Or PAX. Or something like that, where there's a whole bunch of people in costumes. Like if you're in the middle of Boston and you see a guy walking through town wearing a gas mask and carrying a bunch of weird shit, and PAX is going on, you're like, oh, it's one of those guys.
Right.
But if you're in Boston and it's, you know, a random Tuesday, and there's a guy in a crosswalk with a thing that might be a bomb, maybe you get a little, you know,
maybe you're
concerned.
a little bit worried, yeah.
Maybe you're a little concerned.
Maybe that's not a thing that you see every day.
Yeah. So there's even a quote in the story from one of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police officers who said, you know, we have to believe everything's real till it's proven otherwise. In the end, you've got a good feeling after going, okay, there wasn't a bomb. There's no intent to do anything criminal. It's just someone in their costume. But then he says there's a time and place for it, like conventions and other events, but wandering around downtown is maybe not the place to do it.
I like that he says maybe.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's not a good idea. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so there you go.
Never a dull moment.
Yeah, it's always fun. But so if you guys are working on a new Vegas costume, maybe put it in a suitcase or a sack or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a thought.
Just a thought.
So, you know, I saw last night, Liz, that they're going to stop making a Fast and Furious movies after they make number 10, and that's like 11 movies too late.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Oh, God, it's about time.
I've never seen any of those.
Oh, good. Good for you.
Keep it that way. Yeah.
Ah! Oh Lord. Yeah, I've been waiting for Fast and the Furious to die an inglorious death forever, and I'm glad they're finally going to let it die. It's very exciting.
Well, so they say.
Or so, yeah. Then
I mean, that's like they only up to 8, so they've got a couple more to go. They've got time to change their mind.
That's true. I mean, they could definitely change their mind. But that's, you know, I mean, look, it's just crazy. I mean, you know, you have Paul Walker, who was probably the best thing about that thing, got himself killed driving a car around because he couldn't stand to be in that movie anymore.
Is that what it was?
That's going to be what I'm going with. So, John, what's on the plate for streaming the rest of the day?
I'm not entirely sure yet. At some point, maybe in the evening, possibly I might stream some Tales of Berseria or something. I'm not sure what I'm going to stream like right after the podcast. Well, I guess question 1 was, would either of you two be interested in hanging out with me after the podcast?
I have to run, but I will be around later on.
Oh, okay.
So I was actually toying with the idea of hopping on and doing some more Northgard because somebody mentioned it in chat, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I can do that."
Yeah, that'd be a great idea.
I think it was Tyler.
Okay.
But I was like, "Oh yeah, I like that game. I can do that."
Okay, folks. Yeah, so we can look forward to that later this evening, and in that case, until then, I think I will play some Tales of Berseria because I've been wanting to get back to that game.
Oh boy, I know there are a few people that'll be excited about that.
And
that's one of the games that every time we're in a stream of any sort and we say, "What would you like to see John stream?" There's 3 or 4 people that always really heavily advocate for Tales of Berseria. So
nice.
Let's see. So anyway, you know, that's this week in review for you. Don't forget that you can now get that all your PS4 Slims are now going to come with 1 terabyte hard drives because why not?
As God intended.
As God intended. And don't forget that Saturday night is subscriber night for Overwatch. So if you're a subscriber, make sure you hit the subscriber channel in Discord and let us know if you're going to make it.
And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe because I need money.
Yeah, so there you go.
I get part of that subscription money, and that goes towards booze, and the booze goes towards making the subscriber nights more entertaining, and you know it's a circle.
For you.
Yeah. It is a circle. It is a vicious circle.
A circle of life. If you will.
We are proud to support it. I hope.
I believe the term is enable in this context.
Well, fair. You know, I am here to enable things for you.
Excellent.
So don't forget that, you know, subscriber night this weekend. Liz is going to play some Northgard later tonight, and John is going to stream Tales of Berseria here in just a minute, right?
Yeah, just a couple of minutes. I'll be off for a couple of minutes just to get some things ready, but then I will be
get settled in and set up.
I will be back.
We appreciate everyone tuning in, sticking with us, listening to us rant and rave. Don't forget to head over to escapistmagazine.com and you know, read some words. That we like it when you read our words. Don't forget to follow John on Twitter at John Drew Markley. Follow Liz on Twitter. She's our senior editor at The Escapist. And what is it? At the Gingerarchy? Is that correct?
That's it.
That's the one. And you can find me at FFRonW. I'm Ron Whitaker, the managing editor of The Escapist. Thanks again to both of you for being here and lending your vastly superior opinions to my own. And thank you all for joining us and listening. And stay tuned for John and Tales of Berseria.
Yep.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. I will be back very shortly.